Hello and welcome to CNR Extra. My name is Nanatufu Boateng. Coming up. Police restore calm on KNUST campus after a violent clash between students of the Katanga and Conti Hall. Also coming up, President Akufo-Addo assures Citi's continuous depreciation and the worsening economic situation will be a thing of the past soon. Meanwhile, the Upper West Regional Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party rescinds its decision to boycott the president's visit to the region, which has been scheduled for Sunday, August 21.
Further to the love that members of the Regional Executive Committee have for His Excellency the President, we have agreed to rescind the decision and retract the press statement.
And later, some beneficiaries of government's Nation Builders Corps NABCO program protest over the non-payment of their allowances.
I have borrowed more than enough. Right now, do you know what I've been doing? I have to run away from my house every morning because my debtors are always chasing me. In fact, Canado, we are suffering.
Many thanks for choosing us this hour. Before we go into the details, let me say good morning and welcome to you, Jude Mensah-Duncan.
Thank you very much, Nanatufu.
Good to have you. You can also join the conversation. The WhatsApp number is 0550585832. Send us your thoughts and your comments. Let us know what you think. So from one university clash or disturbance to another, yesterday we witnessed some clash between students of Conti and Katanga at the KNUST.
There is heavy security presence at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, to prevent a clash between residents of the University Hall Katanga and Unity Hall Conti from escalating. The disturbances, which started around 5 p.m., has led to some school and private properties vandalized.
Well, just recently, we witnessed what happened at the University of Ghana, and now we are seeing same at KNUST. Now, I'm wondering if Katanga and Conti wanted to do their own because Sabah and Commonwealth did theirs. I really don't know what it is, but I don't know. Is this gangsterism brewing in our university campuses?
I mean, to be fair, it's been there for some time. I mean, you speak to people when the universities in the early 90s, in the early 2000s, up onto the 2010s, and even now, you get the impression that some of these acts of hooliganism and vandalism has been around for some time. But Nanatufu, I think there'll never be a better opportunity to present itself for the necessary authorities to take a firm decision and make sure that it's stopped once and for all, like it's presented itself now. If you look at some of the things that's happening right now, for me, I've always said that an approach to curbing this are in two folds. So you have the first one being the proactiveness of the necessary authorities and the reactionary approach. Proactive in that I've always said that it's about time we start looking at the sorts of securities on our campuses. Back in the university or the University of Ghana where I was, we used to call them Ayite Police, named after the Vice Chancellor at the time. But if you look at those people doing the policing or the security work on campus, they are not people or officials who have the training and the necessary, skills and even the manpower. There are so many challenges bedeviling some of them. So security has become a big issue on campus. I've also spoken a lot about the need to take up counseling in the universities very importantly because, for instance, during every admission process, there's some orientation for students where counselors are allowed to come and speak to the students. But that's sort of and if it has not even lost its usefulness at all because, number one, students don't patronize. So people come into the school and they sort of take over the already existing norms and traditions from other students. The other side of the coin is to look at the reactionary approach into curbing this. Number one, and first and foremost, there need to be an example.
Yes.
I think when one
person
is
is identified, picked up,
and
used, goes through and faces the full rigors of the law.
Thank you very much. And used as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
I mean, the person, of course, should be beyond every reasonable doubt proven to be a part of this, so that it's not as if you are
just giving the dog a bad name and hanging it.
Exactly. If one person, just one single person, is used as a scapegoat, made to face the full rigor of the law, made to go through the court, and even if it means serving a jail term, done. I believe that this will go a long way to address it. And to for briefly on this matter, there's also been instances where some of these old boys of these halls would see them defending some of these things in the name of hall tradition.
Even supporting.
Exactly.
And promoting.
Exactly. And these are not even just any mere random old boys. You see some people in very prestigious positions in society, for one reason or the other, they feel like this is part of a hall tradition that must go on in the hall. It's unfortunate, and for me, it doesn't make any sense at all. So all of those things need to come up again. But very importantly, we should adopt the process of campus policing. We have to make sure that counseling at the university level is intensified, and of course let's look for that scapegoat. I believe if that scapegoat is found, this will come to an end.
Right. So quick updates on this story. The police issued a statement saying that calm has been restored to the university campus. The police is in total or absolute control of the situation. Is currently undergoing investigations to bring persons behind this act to book. Police is urging calm among all law-abiding members of the university community. The Ashanti Regional Security Council has also spoken on this matter, called for cool heads to prevail. That notwithstanding, the council has warned that really it will identify persons, individuals or groups that want to foment trouble on the university campus and will deal with them according to the law. So those are the updates on there with respect to the clash between Conti and Katanga halls yesterday on the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Send us your thoughts via the WhatsApp number 0550-585832. Let us know what you think. President Akufo-Addo has been speaking, and he says, well, they're working tirelessly to fix the economy.
Akufo-Addo says measures have been taken to address the depreciation of the Ghanaian cedi and the worsening economic situation in the country.
Now, President Akufo-Addo says he is aware of the current situation in Ghana and he's working tirelessly to bring some relief to Ghanaians. Citi News' Sambi Afe has more in this report.
Speaking at the opening of the 12th biannual conference of the Methodist Church of Ghana in Winneba, in the Central Region, President Akufo-Addo says the pandemic of COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war should be blamed for the woes the Ghanaian economy was going through. The steep depreciation of the cedi, high inflation, and high cost of living and foodstuff have resulted in harsh economic conditions in the country. Though government is seeking help from the International Monetary Fund for a balance of payment support, President Akufo-Addo says homegrown solutions are being considered to mitigate the plight of Ghanaians.
We're determined to bring relief to the Ghanaian people and return the economy back to the high rates of growth that characterized the management of our economy in the 3 years preceding the COVID outbreak in 2020. The approach to the International Monetary Fund is an important step in the short run towards that goal. Other steps will be taken, in particular, to deal with the unacceptable depreciation of the cedi, reining in inflation by bringing down food prices is a major preoccupation of the government. This season's emerging successful harvest will assist us achieve this objective, together with other policies that are being put in place. We will also continue with our program for the expansion and modernization of our educational system to create a 21st century workforce. The systematic reform of our healthcare system to ensure a resilient, robust healthcare delivery system, the realization of the agenda of industrial transformation that holds the key to our future prosperity.
The president wants a collaboration between the church and government to address the many challenges facing the country.
Above all, I continue to have an abiding faith in God to help turn the fortunes of our nation around, together with appropriate policy, determination, and hard work on our part. And I urge all of you gathered here to have that same belief that the fortunes of Ghana under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo will be restored. I have no doubt that the state and the church will continually find ways to collaborate for the good of Mother Ghana and for the improved welfare of her citizenry, all to the glory of our God and Father in heaven.
On government flagship program, which is the free SHS policy, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church of Ghana, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kwabena Boafo, wants government to engage faith-based organizations who have already established schools in the country. He believes the policy, which is a laudable one, needs more collaboration between government and the churches.
The Methodist Church, as a partner in the provision of quality education, is however concerned about the challenges confronting the system. We humbly, Mr. President, we humbly plead with the government to engage all stakeholders, including the faith-based organizations of which the Methodists are a part, to meet, to address these challenges. We believe that having operated the system for some time, it would not be out of place to call for stakeholders meeting on it to straighten the rough edges hampering the free SHS.
Well, Jude, the president says he will continue to have abiding faith in God to help save the economy.
I mean, he's a Christian and it's his right to have faith in God. I mean, I saw a funny thing that's on social media that said that it's moved from having the men to having faith in God. But to be fair to the president, he's always said that the battle is the Lord. So we hope that we expect
this one to the Lord will intervene.
The Lord will also intervene in this particular one. But Nana, it was very imperative and very important that the president has admitted that there's a problem and speaking on the issues.
The matter, yes, very important.
I mean, it didn't come to me as a surprise because I expected the president to be touching on some of these things. But for me, I mean, listening to the president, it sort of gives the impression that the country is sort of looking forward to this IMF program a lot, and a lot of hopes have been banked on it. Some experts and economists have even called for an expedited approach with regards to how the country is looking at going for the IMF. Some even say different committees should be set and all of that. But now, I mean, aside the IMF or aside governments going into the IMF for a bailout, I believe locally too there are also certain things government should be seen to be doing to address the economic hardship in the country. Right? I mean, the spiraling freight charges, high cost of fuel, high cost of food, all of these things are having a serious toll on the ordinary Ghanaian. So for me, I expect that the government, as a matter of urgency, both monetary policy managers, fiscal policy managers, would, as a matter of urgency, ensure that government begins to move from consumption into production. I mean, it's not feasible. We sort of take a lot of loans from the capital market and we are just pushing it into paying salaries. We are pushing it into servicing older debt and paying emoluments and all of those things and paying very ambitious campaign promises like NABCO, like teacher trainees and all of those things. But if these monies we get from the capital market are able to be pushed towards productive sectors of the economy, I think to a large extent and in the long term would help in checking some of the problems that is facing the economy.
I mean, these are all issues that will come up during the negotiations with the IMF, because clearly they would want to monitor your expenditure vis-a-vis your revenue. But you see, before we go into all that, I mean, I think it's time the government, although very important that the president will make a statement on the economy, because you see, following the MPC increasing the monetary policy rate, boosting some confidence amongst investors. It is important that the president makes a statement so that at least he, as the chief executive of the country, is seen to be doing something about the state of the economy. That also helps to boost investor confidence. But you see, beyond that, we need to move from the rhetoric and show some commitment, demonstrate commitment towards resolving the issues. You see, how many ministries do we have? How many ministers do we have?
Cuts down all of that.
Cuts down on all of that. You understand? That reduces your expenditure, especially when it comes to emoluments and remunerations.
I mean, I was saying on the other show the other time that you have a hard blood pressure for rhetorics or
clearly.
And clearly an anemia for the deeds. I mean, we recall the finance minister, for example, when he gave a 12 cost-cutting measure approach government was going to use to check the city depreciation and the economic crisis at the time, somewhere in March. A week later, it turned out that he had even given seed money to the construction of the National Cathedral. So these are some of the consumption-driven approaches government is adopting that, for me, and I believe some experts have also had cause to question. So it's unfortunate and that we find ourselves in this situation. Look at our total debt stock, for instance, as a country, and we are still borrowing to still pay old debt. I mean, it beggars belief for me. So we expect that government will begin to walk the talk, like they say it, and ensure that those cost-cutting measures are actually realized so that the economy can begin to take shape.
Very, very important there. But let's still stay within the camp of the NPP, because the Upper West Regional Branch has rescinded its decision to boycott a visit by the president.
The Upper West Regional Executive Committee of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, has rescinded its decision to boycott the president's visit to the region, which has been scheduled for Sunday, August 21. The group had earlier threatened to boycott the visit to register their displeasure with the regional minister, who they accused of spearheading the organization of the visit without recourse to the leadership of the party in the region. But the Regional Executive Committee says their decision to call off the boycott follows a series of consultations between them and the regional minister, as well as all other stakeholders in the region. There is more in this report by Citi News' Latif Mahama.
Information from the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council and the Regional Secretariat of the governing New Patriotic Party confirms that the president is scheduled to begin a 3-day visit to the region starting August 21. The visit is to commission some completed government projects and inspect ongoing ones, as well as interact with chiefs and people of the region. Ahead of the visit, the Upper West Regional Executive Committee of the NPP threatened that the party will not have anything to do with the president's visit due to the conduct of the Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, ahead of the arrival of the president. The committee, which includes all regional executives and constituency chairmen of the NPP, converged at a press conference to drum home their concern.
The minister, in his usual hide-and-seek behavior, has refused to involve the party in the planning and organization of the event. In an attempt to meet the minister for information concerning His Excellency the President's visit, so that we can make inputs, a regional executive meeting was convened and the minister, in his usual clandestine way, refused to attend the meeting.
The group called on all members and sympathizers of the NPP to desist from taking part in any activity during the president's visit.
We are therefore, by this statement, directing all party members in the region to stay away from any activity that has to do with the visit of His Excellency the President. The minister has indicated that the visit of the President is official and not political, and that explains the treatment he is giving to party executives. In conclusion, the Regional Executives Committee has decided that since the minister says the visit is not political, and all his actions show same, party members are advised to stay away and allow the minister and his officials to carry out their official visit.
The group called on all members and sympathizers of the NPP to desist from taking part in any activity during the president's visit. The regional minister, in a swift response, denied the allegations.
I was surprised to hear from a group of MPP regional executives where they indicated that the president will be paying a visit to the Upper West region, and I, the regional minister, have decided to run a one-man show. They indicated that I was spearheading the organization without recourse to the regional executive. And I find that to be strange.
As the issue rages on, the Regional Executive Committee took a sharp turn to rescind their decision.
Following consultations and engagements with the regional minister and other party stakeholders, and further to the love that members of the Regional Executive Committee have for His Excellency the President, we have agreed to rescind the decision and retract the press statement that was issued yesterday. Further to this, we are urging all party supporters to get themselves ready to welcome His Excellency the President to the region.
Reporting for Citi News, my name is Latif Mahama.
This was some tension brewing between the party executives in the region and the regional minister. We've heard him, Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh, say that really he's communicated the president's visit and his itinerary to the party executives. The executives earlier accused him of not communicating, and by extension meaning they are being excluded from that. Even suggested that the minister did say somewhere that the president's visit is official and not a political or a party one, for which reason they were going to boycott it, which is fine. Now they've rescinded their decision. We don't know whatever may have happened behind closed doors. That's fine. The only problem I see here is the attack. There was an attack on the secretary. So, I mean, we don't know if they've put fear in them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I read a story where the secretary, the Upper West Regional Secretary.
That's Dauda.
Yes, was claimed.
Daniel Dauda.
Was claimed to have been attacked by some unknown and armed men. So that, for me, if it's later proven to be true, is very unfortunate. But you see, there's also the element of a second-term party government friction that we've seen in the past. But for a party that wants to break the 80, these are the early signs that need to be addressed. And like we were saying on the show sometime this week, I mean, I don't envy the new MPP national
executives
leadership
at all.
I mean, it's one trouble.
Don't you think they are being tested too early?
Maybe, but it's politics, and the stakes are very high. I mean, going into an election like this, we've never seen anything of this kind before, where the ruling government at the time will be presenting a new candidate, and the opposition will probably, all things being equal, present someone who's been a president before. So the dynamics are quite interesting.
And even if you watch the figures in Parliament and how it will play out in
everything that is happening in our political sphere right now. So the dynamics are quite interesting. But for me, I don't believe to a large extent that government and the party should work differently. I mean, the party came into government because of the promise they made on the ticket of the party. I don't know if I get what I'm saying. So it's important that government and party work together. But however, there should be that clear distinction. Saying so, there's a reason why, for instance, the party general secretary attends cabinet meeting. So, I mean, when the residents or the party officials in the Upper West came out to say that, for instance, the minister said that it's a official government event and not necessarily a party thing. I find that very it's some way.
It's not communication that should go around. I mean, regardless, I mean, the executives are indigents of the region as well. So, I mean, what will it take just to throw an invitation to them?
And the party people in the Upper West region, to a large extent, are people who have become or who are supposed to be ambassadors of the work the government is doing in the region. So to sort of seclude them from a program as important like that, for me, it's a challenge. It's good news that they've been able to resolve their differences and they are able to work together in the future. But, I mean, for the new MPP National Executive, I mean, these are the trying times. These are the testing moments for them. A lot more should be envisaged, because these are some of the things that will come up when a party is preparing to, I mean, like they say, break the eight. I mean, it's difficult times, and for the General Secretary, it's a test of his leadership as well as the National Chairman.
Clearly. But I think it is good. We want to believe that the leadership at the national level may have intervened, or perhaps the presidency itself may have intervened and resolved the matter, for which reason there's been a U-turn from the executives. And I think this is how they should be going. Because, you see, for a party that wants to break the eight, like we've mentioned here, if you allow division at this point and at this level,
and it's a clear 2 years before the election, but look at the challenges that keep coming from the party. I mean,
but what you allow is what will grow.
That's true.
So if they don't nip all this in the bud now, it's really go to bite them really hard during the 2024 elections. Well, this is CNR Extra on Citi TV, still ahead. Some NABCO beneficiaries hit the street to demand payment of their 10-month allowance arrears. We'll be right back with the details. Welcome back. This is CNR Extra here on Citi TV. I am in the studio with Jude Mensah Duncan. You can also join with your comments and your thoughts or contributions via the WhatsApp number 0550585832. Let's move into our next story, and it looks like the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority is really up and doing.
Now, over 300 uncustom vehicles were confiscated between January and August this year. This is according to the most recent data from the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA. According to the Customs, these vehicles have not paid their duties as required by the law. Citi News' Kennedy Chumesi has more in the following report read by Ni Ayikwe Okain.
Customs has warned that the use of uncustomed vehicles is illegal and punishable by law. An uncustomed vehicle is one that hasn't passed through the acceptable customs processes or one that full duties haven't been paid on them. In 2017, over 700 vehicles were seized across the country. The National Vehicle Task Force of Customs, in its operations, has confiscated several vehicles across the country for not paying the required duties. As part of efforts to clamp down on more of these vehicles, Customs embarked on a similar exercise. Vehicle owners whose cars were impounded wore sad faces. Others also spent hours challenging authorities for no wrongdoing.
Your number is duplicated. Two vehicles are using
the
one
car number.
Yes, it's duplicated. Two vehicles are using the same number.
I have the documents there.
That is one. Two, your chassis number is tampered. Yes, and we have been able to trace the original chassis number of the car from this document. This is the original chassis number of the car. And these are documents in the car, S500.
But this guy is
S-Class.
S500.
Yes, so this is the original chassis number of your car.
But I have the document there.
Yes, so you can produce the document, but the vehicle will be impounded.
According to Customs, tampered chassis numbers, an alteration of a unique number assigned to a car by the manufacturer, vehicles with falsified documents, and diversion of transit vehicles, among others, are some offences committed by persons who do not want to pay duties. Describing it as an illegality, The Deputy Commissioner Preventive of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Emmanuel Owusu-Boakye, says persons found culpable won't be favored.
We have a mechanism of getting to know. The moment my team arrests you, there and there, they can tell you that with the gadgets that they have, that this particular thing is not running correctly. So there's a problem. So the moment they get to know there is a problem, right from the word go, the vehicle is detained. We issue out a detention receipt. So once we issue these detention receipts, we take them to our yard. We detain them officially. And then we give you a period to come and then correct whatever it is. If it is tampered, the law allows us to seize them outright. Then we go into it and we find out that you've not even paid the duty is supposed to be paid on it. It becomes another issue.
Data from customs reveals that from January to August 2022, 314 vehicles have been confiscated so far. Accra, Aplau, Koforidua, Ho, Takrade and Kaswa are among the places and customed vehicles have been recorded. Per the data, Accra has the highest number of these vehicles, followed by Takrade. Accra and Takrade have 83 and 65 of vehicles seized respectively. Some drivers who heeded and paid their duties after their vehicles were earlier confiscated were happy. They had no issues when the task force stormed them again to check whether they had paid their duties.
That's the first time, and you're going to pay. How does it feel?
Oh, it's normal one. I feel good now. Yeah, I'm okay now.
So most times people are caught, they don't pay, they are caught again, and they are still frustrated. But now, since you are free.
I'm free now, because I can go anywhere. Because first time when I see them, I become nervous. But now I'm okay.
So how much did you pay?
Oh, they give me the penalty. I pay the penalty. The penalty that they give me, I pay.
How much was it?
It's very expensive. Yeah.
Emmanuel Boakye, however, encouraged the public to voluntarily submit their uncustomed vehicles to the Customs Division for the required duties to be paid. He says that such a move will not attract any penalty.
Before you bring in a vehicle, try and get a customs officer. If you have such a vehicle and you bring it in from other countries, like the neighboring countries, so to speak, and you voluntarily come to us that you intend to enter for home consumption. What you mean by that is you intend to pay and then use it in this country. We will not penalize you. That's a way of complying with the stated rules. I mean, it's voluntary compliance, so to speak, and then we will encourage that people will even come out and voluntarily tell us, oh, they have this, they want to pay, they will have that, they want to pay up, and that kind of thing. We want to encourage that.
So this exercise was carried out between January and August of this year. 314 vehicles, uncustomed vehicles, seized or impounded. Somewhere 2017, a similar exercise was conducted between, I think, May and December, and that one also, some 314 cars were impounded, mostly cars smuggled into the country from neighboring countries, mostly Togo. I think this is a step in the right direction because there are a number of these vehicle owners who are evading taxes and are not paying duty or duties on the cars they use. I mean, once you have come through the ports, you need to pay duties so that the country can get some revenue, especially in these times. You understand? So I think I support them. But then what happens after? I mean, previously there was a grace period where owners of such vehicles would have to come and pay the appropriate duties and then they can get their cars back. But now these cars have been impounded. So it looks like it should be more punitive. Maybe a penalty should be put on it, or maybe a percentage put on the original duty, so that, I mean, it deters others from doing the same.
I mean, if you look at the Ghana Public Services Survey that was released quite recently, an amount of about 5 billion Ghana cedis is lost to corruption and some of these financial irregularities we see or report in the news on a daily, on a frequent occasion. So for me, it's a serious thing. I mean, tax evasion, duty evasion, for me, is something that we need to take up very seriously. I hope this is not one of those face-saving approaches on the part of the customs division, because quite recently in the news, they've been in the news for all the wrong reasons, from the LaBianca case to featuring very prominently on the Afrobarometer corruption survey. I mean, the custom division have been in the news quite frequently in recent times. So we
for
hope
the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons. So we hope seeing them do this is quite refreshing to see. So we hope it's not a face-saving approach, but rather one of those measures they are putting in place to plug the revenue leakages. I mean, one of the major constraints government is facing in this country right now has got to do with revenue mobilization, revenue generation. I mean, a lot of people are not paying taxes, and there are already existing ones where governments can use to also push in other sectors of the economy. People are trying to evade taxes
the system.
And take advantage of the system in that regard. So it's unfortunate, but we are, like you are saying, it's a step in the right direction. They need to intensify it, and we hope it's not a 9-day wonder where in a month or two, then it's just the same old problem resurfacing again. But I mean, kudos to the customs. We hope that some of these things will go on quite frequently to check the system. And
let's see the end of it. I mean, let's know what happens after. If indeed you're going to give them a grace period, let's see the end of it. Are these vehicles going to be auctioned? Are they going to be converted for use by... I mean, whatever it is, let us see the end of it. But some beneficiaries of the Nation Builders Corps program, NABCO, yesterday hit the streets. They say they haven't been paid their allowances for the past 10 months.
Beneficiaries of the government's Nation Builders Corps NABCO program on Thursday poured onto the streets of Accra to demand the payment of their 10-month unpaid allowances. The beneficiaries, whose program will end this September after it was extended by government for a year, say life has become unbearable due to the worsening economic conditions being witnessed. In a protest, the beneficiaries appealed to government to make funds available to the secretariats for onward disbursement. Citi News' Kukwedraman monitored the protest and has filed this report.
It was an outpouring of their frustration during the protest by a section of NABCO beneficiaries. Inscriptions on placards held up high amidst chants were to appeal to government to release funds to the NABCO secretariat to pay their 10-month arrears. During the protest on Thursday, some disgruntled beneficiaries could not hide their frustrations but to share with Citi News.
Life has not been easy since day one. From my place of job, work at my house, it's almost 7 cedis per a day. Without even chop money, without even water. I work with the Ghana Educational Service. I'm the only IT technician there. I do all the district work for them. They always encourage me that I'm doing good work. The government will return me. But look at me today. I was one day, my boss just called me, Mr. Martin, I have to let you go because you are suffering too much. Which of the GS staff will give you his pocket money to put in your own pocket? Nobody will do that.
Have you borrowed from people to be able to sustain yourself?
Sir, I have borrowed more than enough. Right now, do you know what I've been doing? I have to run away from my house every morning because my debtors are always chasing me. In fact, Nanado, we are suffering. Nanado, this is not a promise you gave us. You promised us that you send us, you give us a very good job. A very good job. Now, graduates, we are now suffering.
We believe that we have been ignored. We have been cheated. Why? Because the same government is able to pay teachers, doctors, nurses, and other people. I mean, paying them their salary. Why can't the same government pay NABCO trainees our allowances? Knowing very well that salaries are, much heavier than allowances. So this is, I don't know whether I should say it's an intentional or something, which of course we can't draw a conclusion. But what we want to say is that we've worked for the past 9 to 10 months and we deserve to be paid before, if possible, the program will be cancelled.
This gentleman, who had borrowed money to enable him attend the protest in Accra from the eastern region, disclosed that his family was torn apart due to his inability to fend for them.
I have borrowed though.
Like how much? How much are you owing now?
Hey, I have borrowed though. I have borrowed. Oh,
how much?
Every day I eat. Every day I eat. I pay light bill, water bill, rent. Now they have ejected me 2 months. I'm sleeping outside. I am from the north, but I'm working in the eastern region. No family member.
From the house to my place of
no
work.
Family member. Oh, no family member.
from the north to the eastern region. How do you expect me to feed myself?
And you are saying that your wife and your family has also...
My wife took my children away. I can't feed them. 10 months. How can I feed them? My brother, how can I feed them? 10 months is not 10 days.
After a long walk by the beneficiaries of NABCO, who have actually poured on the streets to demand the payment of their 10-month allowances, they have currently reached the Independence Square, where they say that they are expecting to meet with the Vice President or a representative from the Office of the Vice President to receive their petition. And so currently, as you can see, they are entering the precincts of the Independence Square, where they are going to be stationed for a while.
After a long wait for a representative from government machinery, a Deputy Chief of Staff, Emmanuel Adumwa Bosman, arrived to receive the petition on behalf of the Vice President.
This is a petition on behalf of all NABCO trainees nationwide. This petition consists of some grievances that we want to voice out to the government. We have not just come out to do this program, but we started appealing to the government. We've even had press conference and other press releases, but we've not still had any positive results. Sir, with all due respect, your people are dying. Nation builders call, we are dying. And we can no longer build a nation on empty stomach.
These things that you have scripted shall be carefully considered at the highest levels. And as soon as it's practicable, you would hear something tangible on the issues you've raised. I cannot purport to have the direct answers or the form it will take, but I can assure you that as soon as possible, you will hear something explicit on this matter of NABCO. May all of us continue to be a little bit more patient. We know that it's been a trying time, not just for only you, but for the entirety of Ghanaians. We are not in normal times. But as you quoted the president saying, we know how to revive economies.
The Nation Builders Corps program, NABCO, which engaged some 100,000 young graduates, was expected to run for 3 years since it was launched, but was later extended for an additional year. Despite the government's investment of over 2.2 billion Ghana cedis into the policy, the program over the period has been fraught with challenges, including delay in allowance payment.
Reporting for Citi News, my name is Kweku Ediama Ansa.
So for a program that has already taken some 2.2 billion cedis, taxpayers' money, and we still owe, 10 months arrears. Now, this was supposed to terminate when? There was an extension. Now, it is expected to terminate in September. Yes, and then the U-Start also comes on board. Are there any lessons that have been learned from this before we're going into the U-Start? And then one thing I was also hoping to hear from these NABCO beneficiaries was whether they are ready and willing to be rolled and absorbed into the U-Start.
I stand to be corrected, but I don't recall any single government initiative or intervention aimed at curbing employment that has yielded any significant or positive results. Like you're saying, 2.2 billion Ghana cedis, and there have been assertions that, using 2.2 billion Ghana cedis into a consumption-driven intervention like this was not the best way to take 100,000 Ghanaian youth out of unemployment. And the results down the years have proven some of these assertions to be true. Because, like I was saying earlier on, if you look at some of the problems facing the country right now, taking loans to fund some of these things clearly is not feasible. You get it? So, I don't know the sorts of thinking that went into it, but in the long term, it's proven to be one of those, in quotes, flop government initiatives. And it's happened already, but going forward, like I was saying, let's focus more on production. Imagine if this 2.2 billion Ghana cedis was used production for funding some factories or even building a hospital where workers will be employed, building schools and all of these developmental projects that will bring some revenue in return. So it's not been the best use of government funds, if you ask me. But would also plead with the NABCO beneficiaries to just be patient, like the Deputy Chief of Staff was saying. These are not normal times, and government should also be quick to address their concerns.
But I see, it's not normal times. The more reason that why they need their money now.
That
I mean, regardless, they've worked, so they need to be paid, and so that's that's what it is. But yeah, NABCO trainees or beneficiaries protesting over some non-payment of their arrears. But stay with us on CNR Extra when we come back. Pressure group Arise Ghana calls on government to immediately suspend the proposed increment in utility tariffs. We'll be right back with the details. Welcome back. This is CNR Extra on Citi TV. Let's take a few of your messages and then we can continue. This one says, this barbaric behavior by some students in the University of Ghana and KNUST must stop. Let university authorities not be spineless, but take drastic measures to stop these jungle practices. This is from Honorable Dr. Raymond Osafo Jan from Kwahu Tafo. Second one says the NPP will continue to fail because they are behaving like a sinner who doesn't admit he's a sinner. How would he repent and be forgiven? This is Asanku from Santa Maria. Keep your comments coming in. The WhatsApp number is 0550585832. Now, pressure group Arise Ghana has arisen and is kicking against the proposed increment in utility tariffs.
The group Arise Ghana has given the government a 48-hour ultimatum to immediately suspend the utility tariff increment. The group says that Ghanaians are already bearing the brunt of economic hardship in the country, hence the increment in tariffs will further worsen it. Citi News' Kennedy Chumesi has more in the following report, read by Ni Aikwe Okain.
The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, on Monday, August 15, announced a 27% increase in tariff for electricity and 21% increase in water tariff effective September 1, 2022. Even though the government says the increment is to help improve the services these companies offer to the public, the development has also been met with fierce opposition by a section of the public. One of such groups is Arise Ghana.
Why must we pay for the cost of inefficiency and recklessness that our government has subjected us to? So the money is to government, President Akufo-Addo and those responsible. So if they go, they will not actually be treating our water. As for electricity, every day we are told about illegal connections. We are told about government institutions that are not paying or have not paid their bills. Parliament is still owing ECG. The ministries are owing. So what do they need to do? Go and collect your money from these agencies and then we'll be sorted out. You have failed to do that and you want to now come and impact and extract from you and I. That is where the challenge is.
Addressing the media, a leading member of the group, Bernard Mona, says the government has 48 hours to rescind its decision in implementing the increased tariffs. He says it will further burden Ghanaians who are suffering due to the economic insolvencies in the country.
We demand one, that government should immediately suspend this utility tariff increment. We are giving government 48 hours ultimatum to suspend the tariff adjustment or face the wrath of Arise Ghana and Ghanaians.
Arise, save Ghana now. Arise, save Ghana now.
Duncan Amwa is the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers and a member of Arise Ghana. He outlined other measures governments can look into other than increasing tariffs.
We think that the timing for this tariff adjustment might probably be badly timed, and it's also not very good considering that Ghanaians are currently facing an economic pandemic, and we think that the earlier the government withdraws this and allow Ghanaians to breathe, the better. If they don't, I can assure you that the very things you are thinking that we should do to government, will do to them.
Well, it looks like even before the implementation of the announced tariffs, a number of people are kicking against it. Rise Ghana also increasingly, solidifying its space within the CSO or space. I don't know. But regardless, utilities need money to work.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this is going to play out.
It wasn't surprising seeing a Rise Ghana movement come to speak on this matter at all. What for me was surprising was that they even delayed in coming to speak on it. Some people expected them to have even spoken on it
on the same day.
On the same day the tariffs were announced. You need some. The truth of the matter is that you need some of these pressure groups to be keeping government in check. Because you can't leave everything to the opposition. And when civil society pressure group come on board, they are seen as to some extent politically neutral. You can debate it or not, but that's for another day. So it's a step in the right direction. It keeps government on its toes. It keeps government in check. They are able to also know that the citizens or people in the country are not too happy with some of the things that are happening. So we want to urge them that even though they want to vent their spleen on government, it should be done within the remits of the law. If they plan to embark on a demonstration, it should be peaceful, and everything should be done in an orderly manner. But like I'm saying, it's very necessary that some of these groups come out to speak on these issues.
Clearly. Civil society pressure groups should all be the monitors for government so that the government does not forget its place in being accountable to the people that voted them into power.
It's been admonished. On every occasion, he has a different red cap you wear, and very, very, very interesting.
All right, then. Thank you so much, Jude Mensah Duncan from the Citi newsroom. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much
on the show. And of course, many thanks to you out there for joining us. This has been CNR Extra here on Citi TV. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. Have a great weekend.